things were like 50 years, when I started Computers and Structures nearly 45 years ago, it was a time before Microsoft. And I'm thinking, why did I do that? Because if I had actually thought about why I was doing it, I probably would not have done it. So it takes a certain level of stupidity to start something that's a little different without thinking. But you see, to make it last 45 years, now that takes genius. And the genius is not me. The genius is all the people that have worked on the software, all the people in the structural engineering profession all across the world that have used the software and have actually told us how bad it is, how it sucks. But they have then allowed us to fix it. And in spite of that, they still continue to use it. So that's why I'm here to and many of you that are users of our software are in this audience. And I'm here to appreciate you and to thank you for that. But above all, I have such regard for our profession, and I'll tell you more about it as the evening progresses, why I think this profession is so absolutely incredible, and why professionals that belong to this profession deserve nothing but the very best. And I want to talk about that some more. But I'm really here to celebrate you. And those that know me know that I travel all across the world, and to me, every place I go, I just want to celebrate and have a party with every one of you, and life needs to be one big party. That's the way I look at it. So, of course, when you have a celebration, you need fireworks, you need sparkles and you need lights. Now, of course, I tried to bring fireworks here, but Naveed kind of rejected that idea. But I did bring some sparkles and lights, so maybe I'll have a little costume change to really get in the mood here. So, all right, let's see. Now, let me see if I can. There we go. All right. Now let me tell you a little bit about this jacket. You see, I think every structural engineer needs to have a jacket like this. Because you see, when you show up at a convention or an event like this, and you start speaking, you can basically say anything that you want. Because you're not listening. You're focused on the jacket. And the other thing is, you get invited everywhere. Why do you think I'm here? Naveed saw me wearing the jacket. Can you come talk to our group? Please bring the jacket. I could send my jacket on a mannequin and that would be fine, But more importantly, people remember you. A gentleman just in the audience saw me somewhere 10 years ago. He said, I remember you. He didn't remember anything I said, or not even who I was. You had the jacket. I can see it tomorrow night. You leave the convention, you go home, you're sitting with your family, and you say, I was at this convention. I don't know what his name was, but there was this man with the jacket, Here's my name, by the way. Now, if you steal my jacket, you will have to change your name. Anyway, so let me really tell you why I think you guys are so wonderful, okay? And I started out talking about it a little bit this morning, but for the benefit of of the people that were not here this morning. You see, I really believe that human beings are created for one fundamental reason. And that one fundamental reason is to make the life of another human being better. This is not religion. This is not something that I have cooked up or dreamt up. For those of us that study human chemistry, know that this is part of our basic constitution. That's the way we are built. And the beauty about an engineering profession, or actually anybody that's associated with enhancing the built environment, whether they're architects, contractors, builders, engineers, all sorts of engineers. I would say structural engineers are the stars, and we can talk about that, and I'm sure there are people who disagree. But the beauty about our profession is that we make life better for all of humanity on a daily basis. I mean, look at what you do. Your retrofit work that preserves the past. Your new work designs the future. But above all, you are in the business of actually saving lives. I mean, look, a 7.2 earthquake comes in a place like Seattle, where your technology is used. Only one person dies. That too from a heart attack. Out of fear. Nothing to do with the physicality of the earthquake. And of course, the same earthquake, when it happens in a region where your technology is not used, you know the devastation. Literally, tens of thousands of people are killed. You know? I mean, if there weren't any structural engineers and people just built stuff, structures could get blown over in a windstorm. Earthquakes could happen. People would get killed. All your infrastructure would be destroyed. And even for those that survived, there would be no food delivered. People would be eating each other. You know that happens. Would there be peace? No. Your contributions to peace are taken for granted. It's just the way it is, and there's reasons for that, and I want to talk about that. From my perspective, every one of you is deserving of the Nobel Peace Prize, considering the work that you do. But you are not even in the running. Why? It's a question worthy of study. You know, people become heroes by just saving one life. Oh my God, that person saved so-and-so's life. Isn't that an amazing thing? In your profession, you guys are saving lives every time the wind blows. And your technology really, really works. I mean, they were talking about the Mexico City earthquake this morning. You know, there's a building called the Torre Mayor, which is built downtown Mexico City, in the same region where in 1985 they had a devastating earthquake. Tens of thousands of people died. You know, after the earthquake, they rebuilt the place, and in the same region where they had all this devastation, they built this 60 or 70-story building. But this time around, they built it with dampers. They built it with technology that is new. Buckling resisting braces were put in there. And you know, in 2002, they had the same earthquake, same magnitude happened again. And you know, in that building, they didn't even know that an earthquake happened, let alone there be any damage. See, that's your technology. But I'm sure most of us don't even know that. I didn't know it. And we developed the software that they use. I had to look it up on Wikipedia, and there I found it. I mean, that is the kind of stuff that we need to talk about. So, the question becomes, and this is especially for the younger crowd, the students, you need to know how incredible our profession is. You know, those that know me know that I travel all across the world talking about our technology, talking about earthquake engineering, doing courses on structural dynamics. Well, years ago, a wonderful young engineer flew in all the way from Argentina to attend one of my classes that I was doing in New York City. And in all of my classes, I always talk about things as to how incredible our profession is, just because I think it's just very, very important to know. So I had talked about some of the stuff similar to what I'm talking about right now. So she attends the class, and then she goes back. And she writes me this wonderful note, which to this day brings tears to my eyes. And you know what she said? She said, I graduated 4 years ago. Today was the first time I went to work with a sense of passion and purpose associated with what I do. And here I'm thinking, what have we achieved as educators if we have taught her structural dynamics, structural mechanics, mechanics of materials, all this wonderful stuff, but we have failed to instill in her a sense of passion and purpose associated with what she does? We have totally failed her. And then, what really pisses me off is that if we are so wonderful, why aren't we all billionaires? Seriously, I'm not even talking about structural engineers. I'm talking about all of us involved in the built environment. We all have the same issues. Why aren't we ruling the jungle? You know what really pisses me off? Is when people come and say to me, our work is not about making money. Our work is about serving humanity. Hello? I think I can serve humanity really well with my structural license in one pocket and $1 billion in the other. They say stuff like that. Meanwhile, smart people, intelligent people, talented people are leaving our profession. Our students are burdened and buckling under the weight of student loans. And our universities are suffering from adequate funding. And we represent the most incredible profession in the world. You know how we work as a percentage of the construction cost? That is our fee. Architects may get 6%, 7%, 15%, whatever. Structural engineers may get 0.5%, 0.25%. I've been there. I started out my career actually being a consultant to other structural engineering firms where I actually did structural analysis for them. And you know, when I would go in there, they would say, oh, this is a 70-story building, but you know, we have the bottom floors, we have the second floor from the bottom, and we have the top floor, and everything in between is typical. So it's really a 70-story building, but you're only really doing 4 floors. So you won't be getting the money, you know, that you think you should, because really you're not doing that much work. Okay, so that's fine. I have no choice. That's the money they're offering me. I have bills to pay. I accept it. Okay, then I start thinking. So this is what I think. You know what a real estate agent gets paid? To sell that building, the real estate agent gets paid 6%. All right? Now, recently a structural engineer came to me and he said, I've quit the business. I'm like, why? He says, engineers in New York are designing the high-rise buildings for 40 cents a square foot. The building sold for $1,500 a square foot. The real estate agent made 6%, which is $100 a square foot. So the real estate agent made 250 times more than the structural engineer did. All right? For that honor, the structural engineer went to school for 18 years. The real estate agent went to school for 18 days. All right? And the real estate agent can sell the building 20 times during its lifetime. Whereas the structural engineer, once if he's lucky. Now, I'm not blaming real estate agents. They've got it figured out. More power to them. But there is something wrong with this picture. All right? And that applies to all of us. I have many architect friends. I love architects. I mean, I am basically an artist at heart. And I just love what architects do. But I talk to them, and they all have the same problems that we have as professionals. All right? So, how do we solve this? How do we make more money? All right? Because honestly, in as much as we may not want to talk about it, and this is the job, I'm addressing the younger crowd. People my age are already retired, okay? This is something that you have to address. And let me tell you, the solution has been staring us in our face for 100 years. It's nothing new. There is actually a report out there produced by the Carnegie Institute of Technology. All right? That report says that only 15% of your financial success is based upon your technical knowledge. 15%. The other 85% is based upon what they call human engineering. And what they mean by human engineering is your ability to lead people, your ability to influence them, but above all, your ability to inspire them. It's your ability to be able to deal with people, your ability to do things that are related to people, like public speaking, marketing, performing, things about human psychology. What does it take to make somebody like you? What does it take to make somebody like you? I mean, do you like me because of my wonderful hat? Or is it my jacket? No. How about my Madonna boots? Okay. Yes, one would think that's true, but it's not. There is only one reason, one solitary reason why anybody will like you and return to you time and again and again. And that reason is how they feel about themselves when they are in your presence. It's called the serotonin factor. If I can make you feel important, make you feel empowered, make you feel incredibly wonderful about who you are yourself, you will come back to me again and again. And that applies to personal relationships, it applies to employee relationships with your employees, with your friends. And it's human chemistry. What does it take to get people to do exactly what you want them to do without you even asking them? And then knowledge of human chemistry. You know, it's pathetic that we know the difference between wine, beer, champagne, and vodka. But most of us don't even know the difference between serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphins, and how they affect the way we feel, how they affect the way we make other people feel. If we had a better understanding of human psychology and human chemistry, maybe we would understand much more as to why people do the crazy things that they do. Then we could be more understanding. But more importantly, we could make ourselves not feel that bad. Because everything that we feel is all chemical. Our happiness, our sadness, our ecstasy, it's all chemical. And if we learn how to control those chemicals, not only within ourselves, but in the minds of other people, they will do exactly what you want them to do. Not because you're asking them, but because they want to. You know, I love the work of Simon Sinek. I don't know, some of you may have heard of him, some of you may have not. But you see, he talks about this concept of belief. And in which he says why it is so important to have beliefs. Like, for instance, I mean, do you really believe that your profession is truly a gift to humanity? I mean, do you really believe that? Honestly, I mean, is that something that you believe or you're just saying it? I mean, I believe it. I totally believe it. I mean, every monument that's standing as a testament to the grandeur of humanity is standing because you people were involved. So he talks about the importance of not just having beliefs, but once you have them, to actually get out there and talk about them. When you talk about your beliefs, something real magical happens. What happens, you attract other people that have the same beliefs you have. And why is that important? Why is it important to surround yourself with people that have the same beliefs you have? Because then they will do exactly what you want them to do. Not because you're asking them to do it, but it's because it's their belief. Especially when you have to hire people. You know, if you hire somebody just for the money, I mean, they'll do a good job. You're paying them. But once the money runs out, they're out. But if you hire people that believe what you believe, they will put their blood, tears, and sweat into their work. And even when money runs out, they will continue to do what they're doing because it's their belief. Money to them is not a destination. Money to them is a resource to arrive at higher destinations. And those are the kind of people that you want. You know, like when you fundraise, you can go ask people for some money. And you know, if they know you and they have a certain level of regard for you, they'll say, okay, because it's your mission, I will give you some money. It's okay. But if you talk to them and you are able to convince them to believe what you believe, they will give you the money without you asking, because that's what their belief is. And when you get out there and talk about your beliefs with passion, you convert people that don't believe what you believe into believing what you believe. Pretty soon you have a cult. How magical is that? They will do everything you need. But it has to start with you. That's why you need public speaking. How many of us in engineering school had a course in public speaking? 0. I'm the kind of person, if there were 2 people sitting across the table and I was the one speaking, I would have sweat running down my back. But you have to get to a stage where you get over it. So I thought today we might talk a little bit about human chemistry. Because I'm here because I really want you guys, especially you young people, I want you to be healthy. I want you to have influence. I want you to have friends. And I want you to be rich. Now I know you're saying, hey, you know, just make me rich. Don't worry about the rest of the stuff. I'll take care of that. You know. But I think if we just talk about how our chemicals are so powerful that they can not just impact what you feel, but impact how others feel. You see, nature has built up, and it bothers me why we don't talk about this stuff. I mean, Every person that we deal with is a human being. The people that love us are human. The people that we love are human beings. The people that don't love us that much, they are human beings. Our bosses are human beings. Our relatives are human beings. Our subordinates are human beings. Then why is it so that it's mandatory for us to learn how to read and write? Learn mathematics. But it's not mandatory for us to learn something about human psychology and human chemistry. It's amazing. Because you know what? Nature expects us to do certain things. Nature expects us to do certain things. And when we do those things, nature rewards us. And the reason nature rewards us, because nature believes that those things are in our best interest. So the reward is there so that you continue to repeat the behavior that nature wants you to do because it is in your best interest. And the way it is that there are basically 4 things that nature wants you to do. All right? And corresponding to those 4 things, there are 4 hormones that are generated in your brain. All right? The first one is serotonin. Let's talk about that. It's called, I only have one slide, and I'm talking for, but I only have one slide. Sorry. Can I have my one slide, please? I wanted you to pay attention to the jacket. You know, you don't need the slide. All right. So I put it in that order because it's easier to remember. It's DOSE, okay? It's your dose of the drug, okay? So let's just start in a particular order. Let's talk about serotonin. Okay, serotonin is the empowerment drug, all right? It's the drug that's generated in your brain when something nice happens to you. It could be anything. Somebody smiles at you. You smile back, you know. Well, let's try something. Let's try. Let me show you how serotonin works. All right, here. I got them 3 brand new iPads, 128 gigabytes. Huh? Generation 6. Here's one for you, lady. Here you go. Take one back to Dublin. And here, sir, one to India. Now look at her. Look at how happy she is. Look at her. Look at him. Oh, my God. Okay? Now.
Look at you.
Yeah, exactly. So they got serotonin rushes. He just hit it right on the nail on the head. He said, look at you. Now, I see you so happy, and you are happy because you got a serotonin rush. And when I see you getting a serotonin rush, I get a serotonin rush. Okay? Now, well, what about all you guys? You're all happy and clapping. You ain't got jack shit. What you got was serotonin rushes. See, that's the power of that chemical, is that when you empower somebody with anything, it could have been a smile. It doesn't have to be an iPad. She gets a serotonin rush. When I see her getting a serotonin rush, I get one. But the beauty about that drug is that people that are witnessing this interaction, they get a serotonin rush, you know. So, and serotonin is an amazing thing. Like, for instance, you know, they say that money won't buy you happiness. They say that, right? And they give you all these stupid examples about how Elvis Presley did this and Marilyn Monroe did that, whatever, you know. Okay, let me tell you how money buys happiness. Money will not buy happiness sitting in the bank. And when you guys out there, after this talk, when you see all this money rolling in and you're going to be all rich, let me tell you what you need to do with your money. And that will make you even happier. Try giving a homeless person on the street $100. Just try it. That person will probably jump out of his or her skin because they're not expecting that. And they will run down the streets like happy as, you can be. And they will remember you for quite a long time because that event is rare. But that is not the important thing. The important thing is that you will remember that person for a very long time. And every time you think about the fact that you may have not done much, but you did change that person's life for that one solitary moment. And every time you think about that, you will get a serotonin rush. You acquire 1,000 such events in your repertoire, you're going to be high on serotonin 24 hours a day. That's where money buys happiness. And it bothers me when I see these people accumulate all this money, millions of dollars in the bank. For what? You don't take it with you, just in case you're wondering. Alexander the Great told us that many, many years ago. He said that when they roll my coffin down the streets, make sure my hands are sticking out so that people know that I ain't taking nothing with me. Money sitting in the bank, yes, you have to have enough money to pay your bills, to have security, but you don't need the billions and billions of dollars that is piled up there. And then to just empower people that work with you. Get up there and say hello. Somebody has done something nice. Don't send an email. Walk up to them, shake their hand, and say, amazing job, man. We'll come back to a little on serotonin. Let's talk about the next one, which is oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love drug, okay? It's that feeling that you get when you hug somebody. It's the feeling that you get when you shake somebody's hand. That warm feeling. I could have done this on a WebEx. I could have done this I could have said, hey, Naveed, why am I wasting my time coming all the way? Just put me on the television. I will talk to them. But it's not the same. Because I don't see you. I need to see your interaction. When I say something, I need to shake your hand, hug you. And I need to know where you are. I mean, if I'm on WebEx, you could be sitting in the toilet and watching my talk. Right? Seriously? And, it's an amazing, powerful drug. It's the drug that, when you're with friends, teenagers, two teenage girlfriends, they'll best friends, right? They'll go to the mall, hang out at the mall all day long, or sit in their bedroom, just kind of talk, two friends talking, or not even talking, just hanging out. All day long, 11 o'clock at night, she decides, okay, I'm going to go home now. And they leave, and at the door she says, oh my God, I had the most incredible time. You didn't do anything. How could you have the most incredible time? Because she's drunk with oxytocin. Oxytocin is the drug that mothers get when they give birth to a baby. That's the reason why the ugly babies get to go home. Because the mother has got this complete oxytocin high. And you know, some of those babies, newborn babies, are pretty ugly. You know that. They've been, you know, you sit in a swimming pool for an hour, you know how your skin gets? Well, that baby's been in water for 9 months. It's going to take 6 years for it to come back to normal, but the mother will take him home. You know? You heard the term, a baby only a mother could love. That's oxytocin. And then, you know, I'm from Pakistan. We grew up, you know, I mean, this lack of human interaction, buying stuff on the internet, you know, not talking, sending emails, texting, no human interaction. I mean, when I was growing up, we would go shopping, and you would never buy anything unless you argued about the price for 3 hours. They would want you to say how much it is. It was 200 rupees. Oh no, I'll give you 3. Right? And you argue, and you settle on 10. But you have that human interaction. When I first went to America, I'm like, this stereo is for $45. I ain't paying 45. Who do I argue with? There's nobody to argue. See, but that human aspect, it's very, very powerful to be able to generate oxytocin in people's brains, endears them to you. They will do things for you, go out of their way to do things for you. And then, you know, I was just in Mexico, all right? So, we have a really, really big market in Latin America, all right? It's all Spanish speaking. I don't speak Spanish. So, but I've got to kind of connect with these people. You know, they're important to me. What do I do? You don't speak the language, you really have an understanding of the culture because it's a very warm society, you know. So this is how I start my seminar. I go there and I start. Say good morning, and I say, yo nunca pensé que pudiera querer con esta pasión que me quema la piel. Volar por tu cuerpo es el cielo tocar. Quiero contigo llegar una noche más. Oh! Guess what that does? You know? It completely breaks down barriers. I have no idea what it means. It doesn't matter. It's their language. They get it. And what it does, it endears them to you that this man took the time. Because you know what they say about languages. The way you learn languages is you will learn a word. Then you learn a sentence. Then you learn how to speak it a little, but the higher level is when you start thinking in that language. Then you start doing poetry in that language. And the highest level is when you start singing the poetry in that language. So I don't know the words. The only Spanish word I know is donde o que pasa. So I figured I'd go to the very top. So I called Jennifer Lopez and said, Jennifer, teach me this song. You know? But what it does, it's made them complete drunk with oxytocin. You know? And when people are drunk, you know what the kind of stuff they'll do. You know that. I mean, this thing about lack of human connection, Einstein said it years ago. That when human interaction is overrun by technology, we will have a generation of morons. And that's where we're headed if we are not careful. Okay, so that was oxytocin. Let's talk about dopamine. All right? Now, the first two drugs that I talked to you about, in order for them to be generated in your brain, two people at least have to be involved. You can't get serotonin sitting in your bedroom alone. You can't get oxytocin sitting in your bedroom alone. But dopamine you can do alone. All right? Now, dopamine is the drug that is dangerous. You can do that alone. Okay? But let me first tell you what it is. Dopamine is the feeling, is the drug that gives you the feeling of, like, for instance, when you have been looking for something on Google all day long, right? And boom, you find it. You know, you get that feeling, woof, yeah, got it. That's dopamine. Dopamine is the feeling that you get when you make a list of all the things that you need to do on Saturday morning. And you go around town driving, doing, you know, go to the post office, go to the bank, you drive by the laundromat, and you find out, oh, it's not on my list. So what you do, you go into the laundromat, you get your laundry, you come out, you put it on your list, and you tick mark it off. If it's not on your list, no tick mark, no dopamine. Okay? That's why all successful people make lists every day, and they tick mark them off. They tick mark a list of 15, they're drunk with dopamine, they want another 15, and then another 15, and another 15. They get an incredible amount of work done, but they're workaholics now. But that makes you productive. You manage your dopamine correctly, you could produce an incredible amount of stuff, be rich. Oxytocin gives you friends, makes you popular. Serotonin gives you the power to empower people, to achieve more. We're living in a serotonin, oxytocin deprived society right now. But dopamine can be dangerous also. See, dopamine, you start doing things that override your need for oxytocin. You become a workaholic, so all of your relationships start to suffer. The dopamine high is the feeling that you get every time you look at the stock market and see, oh my God, my stock went up 3 cents a share. I'm going to sell it. And if you're a stockbroker, you start selling yours and you start selling everybody else's. Or you buy something because it's going up and then it goes down. See, that's all dopamine addiction. And then, of course, there's endorphins. We all know endorphins. That's the feeling that you get when you work out. Runner's high. You run, 50,000 miles, you have this feeling, you want to run some more. It's the natural painkiller. Nature's natural painkiller. That's what it is. Laughing. When you laugh, your body, you get convulsions when you laugh. And dopamine is released. And that gives you a high. That's why laughing feels so good. But if you laugh too much, you know how you're laughing, and your endorphins run out. They say, stop, you're killing me. But it's all endorphins. And of course, people run 26-mile marathons, they're all high with endorphins until the endorphins run out and then they can't even walk, right? But nature wants you to be healthy. Nature wants you to be active. That's why it's created endorphins. Nature wants you to be productive. That's why dopamine is created. Nature wants you to have personal relationships. That's why oxytocin is there. And nature wants you, above all, to help other people. And that's why it's a very old thing. Our grandmothers used to say that a good deed is a reward in itself. What's that mean? It's the serotonin you're getting, And there's one drug that I haven't listed here, and that is cortisol. Cortisol is a drug that's created in your system when you are stressed. Okay? Now, there was in the olden days, there was a reason for stress. And the reason for stress was that if you were being chased by a lion to be eaten, you would get stressed. And what does stress do? Stress releases cortisol in your system. And what that hormone does, it completely puts on hold any bodily function that is not necessary for survival. That includes digestion, it includes your immune system, it includes everything that is in your body to rejuvenate it, your skin. It stops the growth of your hair, and it stops the growth of your nails. It increases your blood pressure, and it jacks up your heart rate. Okay, these are things that stress does to you. And the reason it was because it wants to conserve every piece of resource that the body has got to just survive. Get away from the lion. Puts all of your functions that are not necessary for survival on hold. So you can see that these days we're stressed for no reason. You've got cortisol running through your veins, and that's why when you're stressed, you look horrible, because none of your rejuvenating functions are working. Your blood pressure is high. Your hair stops growing. Well, for me it doesn't matter, but for those that want their hair to be beautiful, they need not to be stressed. So it's something to think about. Stress had a purpose. But these days we're stressed for no reason at all. We're stressed when we miss a flight, we're stressed. How many of us have heard, how are we doing on time? Wait a sec. How much time do we have? Wow, that's not an answer. Let me talk about, how many of you have heard of Bill Gates? Come on. Come on, give me a head count. Bill Gates. Okay, everybody, right? How many of you have heard of Steve Jobs? Everybody. Okay, how many of you have heard of Ray Clough? Okay. 7, 8, 9. 9. All right? Okay. Now that's pathetic. Well, it's not pathetic. That's actually pretty good. Because I have been in groups of structural engineers where there are 500 people in the audience and only 2 have heard of Ray Clough. Well, let me educate you about Ray Clough. Okay? Ray Clough was a structural engineer. All right? Ray Clough was the founder of the finite element method. You know what the finite element method is? It's the method that is used in the design of the airplanes that you fly around in. It's used for the design of all the automobiles that you guys drive. It was used in the design of the space capsule that took man to the moon and brought him back. It's used in the design of the blender blade that made your frappuccino at Starbucks this morning. Artificial limbs, dentures, you name it. Okay, that person's contributions to humanity are greater than those of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs combined. He's one of us, and you don't even know who he is. Last year he died. The whole universe should have come to a standstill, but it didn't. Whose fault is that? And then we wonder why we don't get paid or why we don't get the rewards and the awards that we deserve. How are they going to pay us if we don't even know what we do? That's why parties are so important. We need to celebrate. We need to celebrate our heroes. We need to celebrate, period. Celebration generates oxytocin. You get people drunk with oxytocin, they'll do exactly what you want them to do. You don't even have to ask them. You just have to hint at it. And then the arts. The arts are so important. And it breaks my heart when I see the government cutting funding on arts. I mean, human beings have 2 brain sides, a left brain side and a right brain side. When you go to college, engineering school, your logical brain is the brain that is being developed. You sit in classes with the same professors, learning the same thing. You did that through high school, you did that through middle school. If you went to Catholic school the way I went to Catholic school, you even wore the same clothes. So when you graduate, what makes you different? I mean, you're like a robot. I mean, there's millions of you out there, the same. What is it that's going to make you different? You see, it's your right side of your brain. It's your artistic side. If you develop your artistic side, that allows you to add your color to everything that you do. It's the thing that makes you different. When you're different, you're interesting. When you're interesting, people like you. When people like you, they do as they're told. When they do as they're told, you get what you want. But again, it has to start with you. An artist, being artistic doesn't mean you've got to be a famous painter. Or you have to be a famous singer. It's in everything that you do. The boots you wear, the way you do your makeup, the way you do your hair, or no hair. You know? But we don't have any classes in art. And you know what really pisses me off more? When people say they can't sing. You know, I'll pull people up on stage, hey, I'll give you an iPad, come sing a Katy Perry song for me. And they will say I can't sing. You know what? What do you mean you can't sing? Every person is born with the basic talent of singing and crying. I never hear anybody saying I don't cry. You know, I sing. Oh yes, maybe I don't sing the way Adele does, but then Adele doesn't sing the way I do. Right? Whether she would want to or not, that's not the question. It's your own personal touch. I'm no Jennifer Lopez, but when I go down to Mexico and give them a little una noche más, oh my God, you should see the people. They stand up. They took me out to a discotheque. They booked the whole discotheque. We didn't get home till 7 in the morning. The whole university was there with me. But it has to come from you. The world is a reflection of yourself. When you're nice to people, they are nice to you in return. When you trust people, they trust you in return. When you don't trust people, they will not trust you. Believe me, they will know. And this thing about this distrust, you can't even do anything these days without people. You can't do anything nice for anybody without them wondering, what's the catch? You know, my father used to say, give everybody a chance to screw you once. And what you will find is, first of all, you would go through life fearless. Here's your chance, screw me. And what you will find, the wonder of wonders, is most people won't screw you. 99.9% won't. And yes, if you do get screwed by that 0.01% of whatever it is, don't carry your old experiences into new relationships. But that, again, all has to start from you. And then we have to claim credit for things that are duly ours. You know what pisses me off? I know you are probably going to wonder, man, this guy is some pissy guy. Everything seems to piss him off. This is what pisses me off, all right? So, an earthquake has come somewhere, all right? And it's 11 o'clock at night, I'm watching CNN. And a politician comes on television and is talking about standing in front of a beautiful building that survived the earthquake. And he's talking about base isolation. Hello? That's my shit. What are you talking about it? But you see, we don't know how to face the camera. We're scared to face the camera, right? So we don't go. So it's a jungle out there. If you don't take credit for things that are yours, somebody else will. It's so simple as that. And we have to do that. We have to step out of our comfort zone. We engineers are just too scared. You know what they say? The biggest tragedy in life is not death. The biggest tragedy in life is arriving at the end of your life and looking back and saying, oh my God, why did not I do that? Is recognizing all the opportunities that knocked at your door and you didn't answer the door because you were afraid. And that's what we have to do. And your life changes. When you live out there in risk, look at me. Look at the lighted jacket. How many structural engineers go and address a plenary session at the Structures Congress wearing a lighted jacket? Do you know how many invitations I get to speak because of this? I have 27 events between now and the fall. I just addressed the BUILT conference in Brisbane, Australia. 600 architects. They had me come talk to them. I'm a structural engineer. They paid me $15,000 to speak for 40 minutes. Hello? I say, move over Hillary Clinton. No, but seriously, it's nothing special about me. It's just that I've learned how to live outside of my comfort zone. If it weren't that, I would never have started CSI. How many people told me that I was going to starve on the streets? And then to take credit for things that you are yours. To claim your stardom. We all are superstars. You know, I don't know how many of you have taken acting classes. How many? 0? Oh, 1, good. Well, the first thing they teach you in acting class, that if you are to be a star, you've got to believe that you are one. It again comes back to the same thing I talked about, belief. It's an amazing, powerful thing. I mean, Syed and I did a seminar on performance-based design in the Dominican Republic. That's where I went the second time, after I had already given them an Una Noche Mas. This was our second trip there. 1,700 people showed up to attend a performance-based design seminar. Are you kidding me? We showed up there. They had to move it into a concert hall. And there were people lined out the door like it was a Madonna concert. And then there was me. We did the seminar, and after that we spent 3 hours signing autographs on SAP 2000 notes. Don't tell me there's not stardom in structural engineering. It's just the most incredible profession. And the thing about it is that, you know, art and technology, when you place your life on the crossroads of art and technology, amazing things happen. Steve Jobs' book, it says it there. He said it, that when you place your life on the crossroads of art and technology, your life becomes magical. Why do you think Apple products are so popular? Because it's beautiful, wonderful technology wrapped up in incredible art. That's why. Why do you think this jacket is so amazing? Why? It's beautiful technology, you know, wrapped up in this beautiful jacket. Why do you think people go to Taylor Swift concerts? People that don't even like her music, they go there. Why? Because they have to experience the technology associated with that production. It's just out of this world. And the beauty about it is that for you to learn a little bit of art as a technical person, it's easier than an artist to learn how to do what you do. It's true. So you young people, learn that. You know, get out there. Bring me a Taylor Swift song next time I'm here. Anyway, I just have to say, I just had an incredible experience here. You guys are wonderful. The beauty of this profession is that keeps me going, and I know it'll have me going for the next 50 years, is just the oxytocin that you shower on me. You know, it's amazing. And I really thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you. And just remember, your profession is nature's gift to humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Habibullah. May I please invite Dr. Naveed Anwar to present the token of appreciation and for you to remember your visit here.